You everybody. It is 8 o'clock on a Saturday morning. Rise and shine. I'm WESH 2 First Warning Meteorologist Eric Burris. This is Coffee Talk. We get together 7 days a week, chat about what's going on in the world of weather, and hopefully get your day started off on the right note. It is just scorching across Central Florida. The temperatures, my God. I leave for a couple of days and you guys forget to bring in some stormy weather. I know that's not really the case, but either way, I mean, yesterday was a record-setting day. We'll get to yesterday's temperatures. We'll look to today's forecast and see when we'll finally get a little bit of a relief coming up in just a couple of minutes. But first, let's just look outside live and see what's doing. We're looking from our WESH 2 studios and off there in the distance, downtown Orlando, looking beautiful. At least it's just as pretty as I remember it. Down to the tourist district. Let's check in and see what's doing. The Orlando International Airport, a little bit of haze. There's some Saharan dust that's kind of crept into the area. We're also using our zoom lens there, so that's to be expected. Tavares, Lake Dora, beautiful, just beautiful. Let me head up to Volusia County, see what's doing. New Smyrna Beach, our tower cam already showing some folks heading over to the beach. Yeah, I see some cars. I see some people. You know, it's a good one. Kennedy Space Center checking in by you. Blue skies, looking good. Let's head over to Cocoa and view our shot over the port. Yeah, it's beautiful. It's just beautiful. And last but not least, is Melbourne working? Yeah. All right, I'll take that. Melbourne, you're looking mighty fine this morning as well. So love that morning. Love that morning. A quiet start to the day across Central Florida. When we check in on our first warning live Doppler radar, happy to see that the scan is nice and clear, though off our shore on the East Coast and the West Coast for that matter, notice there are just a couple teeny tiny little showers here or there. Nothing that's bothering us, but there are a few showers. Temperatures already warm. And the reality is, I mean, it's going to be a warm day today. It's going to be another very hot day. 80 degrees in Kissimmee. We're sitting at about 81 degrees in Orlando, 82 degrees in Sanford, and 79 in Palm Coast. So we're looking good. I think we're looking about as good as one could hope. When we check in on where we're at in terms of the overall forecast today, yeah, it's going to be a scorcher of a day. 91 by 1 o'clock, 95 degrees. 95 degrees is going to be our afternoon high temperature. And then we get a 30% coverage of storms. And then we get a 50% coverage of storms. At least the stormy weather is going to help us out just a little bit today. And the reality is, on a day like today, you know, we've got heat advisories posted across all of Central Florida. It's a hot day, okay? A heat advisory means that at least at some point, that feels like temperature is going to make it to 108 degrees. So, as I said yesterday, we have to just take it easy if we're spending any extended time outside. I know what some people say, and it just makes me wonder sometimes. It's been hot my whole life and I didn't have air conditioning, and I get that. But also, it's our job to report on these things. So that's what we're going to do. So if you're out and about today, taking the boat out or something to that effect, just take it easy, right? Keep hydrated. You'll be good to go. If you've got plans to do jogging or anything like that, yard work today, something like that, it's going to be a day where we're going to want to take it just a little bit slower, perhaps try and get it taken care of a little earlier in the day, that sort of thing. When we talk about a heat advisory, you know, it's a fairly rare thing for us to see in Central Florida, and our entire area is under that heat advisory from 11 o'clock until 7 o'clock. So just keep that in mind. Temperatures today around Central Florida. Let's just put this into perspective around town, okay? Here we are. Here's our high temperature forecast around town. 95 degrees in Orlando. May not be as hot as yesterday, but the dew point temperature, that humidity is creeping up just a little bit. 94 in the Villages, 96 in DeLand, 93 degrees in Titusville, and 94 degrees in Melbourne. So yeah, It's going to be a day. It's going to be a day, right? Of course, we've got you covered. Let's talk about those feels like temperatures around Central Florida, okay? And then I'll get to your questions, your comments, concerns. Give me just 2 seconds. Let me step off my soapbox after talking about today's feels like temperatures, okay? So here we are. Here's the map. And this is using our futurecast model. All right, 9, 9:30, 10 o'clock, already getting into the triple digits. By 11 o'clock this morning, wow, 103 is how it feels in Orlando, 100 in Leesburg, 102 in Daytona Beach. That's at 11 o'clock in the morning. For goodness sake. 11 o'clock in the morning. Okay. All right. Let's continue on, shall we? Through 1 o'clock, 103. Continuing to 3 o'clock, 102, 105, 106 in Ocala. 5 o'clock, that sort of thing. So, yeah. To say that it's going to be a hot day, I would say is definitely on the order. So here's a look in Orlando, and let's just kind of take it hour by hour, and let's pop some of these graphs up together, okay? I have no idea why this computer is being like slow as molasses. The computer isn't. It's just a weather application, so that's random. Performance is not doing well. All right, so the animations are going to be a little slower. Okay, I have a feeling this computer just probably needs a restart. But that 105 at 2 o'clock, that's on the back. You see how it kind of goes up and back down. So that's on the back side of it, right? Here's Leesburg. Let's take a look at your feels like temperatures through the day today. 105 again. You know, I think that it's because I'm ticking on every other hour. We're kind of missing that. But you get the idea. Today is going to be a very, very hot day. There's 108 at least, but you can see that's on the back side of it. So interesting stuff. So today we meet the criteria for a heat advisory where the heat index is going to, at least for a brief time, get up to 108. So just take it easy. You'll be fine. We can handle heat. It's Central Florida, for God's sake. We know how to do this stuff. It's in our DNA, you could say. I would say, when thinking about getting into the backyard swimming pool, it's the only reason that today is not just a flat out amazing day is because I can't go that high. But when we look at the overall scale, it's a great day. Yes, we'll get those showers. Yes, we'll get those thunder showers this afternoon. Rain chances are dialing up a little bit. And that's just simply because we've got more moisture in play. So the feels like temperatures are going up because of that moisture, but that also is a self-fulfilling prophecy of giving us a little bit of relief, which we desperately need. So that's fine. We need it. But if you're out and about today, definitely try to get into the pool, go to the beach. Speaking of the beach, we saw when we were looking at New Smyrna, we saw people were already venturing out there. I would definitely say it's a good day to do that. If you're heading out today, water temperatures much more favorable by you than by me. Water temperatures at 80. I got to tell you, I put my hand in the water here yesterday at Acadia. It was like 50 something degrees. That Labrador current will get you. Not going to the beach. Although there was some schmo that was swimming in it. And I'm just thinking to myself, like, doesn't hypothermia set in like a half an hour? I guess there's people that do that. Let's play the game, race the hypothermia. Anyway, not the case in Florida. Gotta love that. Surf running 1 to 2, seas running about 2 to 3 feet today. So it does look great, but it does look hot. Now, let's talk a little bit about the rain chances, and then we can get to the futurecast model. First off, highest coverage rating is going to be north of town today and west of town today. So let's take a look at our futurecast model, and let's dial this in hour by hour, okay? Here we are this morning, and yeah, it's perfectly quiet. It looks like it is a lovely, lovely morning. 10, 11 o'clock, still looking good. Okay, 1 o'clock, still looking good. Notice by 2 o'clock, the sun's still shining. So we've seen this the last several days where the temperatures are running hot because even when we're getting the rainfall, it's just a little delayed. There's your sign that, again, today is going to be the case. So good times. All right, 3, 4 o'clock, kind of starting to spark up those showers and those thunder showers, getting them going. There you go. Such is life. 5 o'clock, stormy weather kind of piling up on the East Coast today, and then kind of fading there 6:30, 7 o'clock thereafter. Really, some good rains. And then there's that next little wave of energy, a little short wave trough from the north, kind of bringing in more moisture to the north. So the overall coverage actually looks to be on the East Coast. If I misspoke earlier, I do apologize. So that's kind of where we're at today. In terms of the forecast and the records, right? Like that was a thing yesterday. What about how are we in terms of things today? Here's the look at the numbers, okay? I think that we're going to fall a little shy of records today. 95 is the forecast in Orlando. 97 is the record in the City Beautiful from 1907. I mean, it's possible. It's possible. I would rather it not, but it's possible. 96 the record in Sanford. 95 the record in Leesburg. 94 in Daytona Beach. And 94 in Melbourne. So yeah, there you go. Now, yesterday we did get to some record temperatures. Let's just take a look. This is where we were yesterday. We hit 97 in Orlando. We were 1 degree away from a record set all the way back in the 1800s, for goodness sake. Sanford tied a record back in 86, and Daytona Beach tied a record back in 1942. Yowza. So there you go. All right. Let's wrap up the local forecast. We can chat a little bit, and then we can get to the tropics. Sound good? Sound good. All right, Central Florida's certified most accurate 7-day forecast. Beautiful sunshine. You gotta hand it to Mother Nature there. It's foggy here, so I get it. Like I get the beauty, right? But there you go. So 95 today, 94 tomorrow, 93 on Wednesday, Thursday. So rain chances starting to go up, helping the temperatures down. A reminder, these next few days through about August 1st, this is the hottest time of the year for us in Central Florida. Average high 92.2 degrees. So there you go, right? We're definitely feeling that heat. Lori says, love the pool forecast, right? I do too. Today's going to be a day. Yeah, I could tell you my kids are in Central Florida. They were in the pool yesterday. They were in the pool the day before. They'll be in the pool today. That's where we're at. Tammy, when we tie a record, do we then use the most recent date as the record high? That's a great question. It just kind of gets added to the list. And if I'm honest with you, when I manually look it up, I can tell you things like the multiple dates. But on this is a product that's auto-plotted from my weather computer. This is an auto, like this is today's temperatures. This is an auto plot. So if I'm honest, if there are tied records, does this use the most recent or the first one? I don't know that answer, but in terms of like the record book, it records both of them. And it would show like for example, if today by some chance we hit 97 in Orlando, it would say 1907, 2023. But in terms of the graphic, I don't know the answer. Interesting. Yeah, because I didn't build space to put multiple dates, and it only displays one date. So I would think whatever is displayed first in the National Weather Service database that they push out, which is probably the first one. So there may be a tie after. That's interesting. I'll be at the weather at the vendor next week, so that's a question I'll have to ask them or check it out. Yeah. Elizabeth says, the pavement will be blistering. Protect the paws. Oh my gosh, yes. Absolutely. Absolutely. Karen, bet that shirt is a long sleeve. Yeah. It is. Janice is asking, wedding today? It is. Today is the wedding. Yep, I've got my itinerary here. I've got the Bahaba map so that I know how to get from my hotel to the venue to the after party. Can I tell y'all, first off, this is fun. So the wedding today is at 11 a.m. Jeannie had to go do her because she's a bridesmaid, so she had to do all that stuff. Wedding today is at 11 a.m. Cocktail hour at 12. From 1 to 4, a lobster bake and reception. Now, I'm not a lobster eater, so I'm going to be eating the steak. Yay. But so that's from 1 to 4. And then from 8 to 11, there's an after party. I don't know that I've ever been to a wedding that had an after party. How super hip is this? How fun. I love that. So fun. So anyway, that's a lot of fun. It's a different kind of wedding, and I'm here for it. I'm loving every bit of it. So yeah, very fun stuff. Very fun stuff. Um, are you enjoying the trip? Yeah, Arnett, it's been lovely. We hiked Acadia yesterday. Got to see some of the most beautiful places I have ever seen on the planet. It's just beautiful. And then today is the wedding, and then tomorrow drive back to Boston and then drop Jeannie off, and then I'm to Andover for my work conference. So I think tomorrow's a 5-hour drive. Yeah. Good times. Taylor says, please bring the cold back home with you. Yeah. If I could, I would. I'll bottle. How about this? I'll bottle it up, and if the TSA allows me through, I'll do that. Jessica says I get the sniffles every time I travel to Maine. My allergies are always so fakakta. It just kind of is what it is. Yeah. Timothy, where am I at? Bar Harbor. What's the theme? Garden attire? Garden attire? So I don't know. So Jeannie's in this blue, beautiful dress. I don't know if I'm going to wear a regular tie or if I'm going bow tie. Is that I don't know. The last time I wore a bow tie was at my rehearsal dinner. I haven't worn a bow tie since, but I brought it. We'll see. Jessica says, go to Cadillac Mountain if you haven't been. So we were going to yesterday, but it was so foggy. It was kind of one of those, do we want to go to the top in the fog? So we got right to like the entryway where they have like the little plaza there for the park rangers. It's like, but we did the whole loop. Yeah. Mike says, I know Eric doesn't drink, but the image of a drunk Eric is funny to my mind's eye. I used to drink, and I would say that I only would drink to excess, like when I was in college and stupid. But yeah, I don't drink. I don't drink anything. Sorry. After the heat breaks, we need to have an after party. Exactly right. David says, missed you at Wesh. I'll be back. Yeah, I'm off this weekend. And then this upcoming week, I'm in Boston for a work conference, so won't be on the air. And then next weekend, so a week from today, I'll be back on TV down there. Yeah. Beverly, a regular tie. Bow ties are for formal weddings, right? And garden attire is a little more chill. Not quite that chill, Debbie. Yeah, no chinos and no, I think it's a jacket. I read I have their wedding has the same their wedding has this website and it's got information on garden attire. So it's a little more chill than I think just chinos and a shirt. I have to look. I did bring the bow tie and it matches the overall theme. Karen says you shouldn't drink with the surgery. Yeah, and I was never a big drinker anyway. I always joke that I was the designated driver before I needed to be because it was just never something I loved. Yeah. I mean, I used to have like one just to be social and like what I had something social in my hand the last couple of nights. It was a glass of water with a stirrer just to look a little fancier. You can dress down bow ties though. I don't know. We'll have to see. Keep the cold weather there. I lived in New England cold for well over 40 years, Patty says. Yeah. All right. Cassandra asks, how are the tropics? Let's yenter it up about the tropics a little bit, my friends, because there is some stuff. All right. We do have some stuff to track. Okay. First off, let me introduce you to what very well could become the next tropical thing. Kind of left-hand side of your screen, that bubble up of convection there. This is the central Atlantic there. It's not very well organized, but there is a little something there, right where it says current temp 80. You see that? That is Invest 95. Not terribly organized, but it's getting there, and models are wanting to organize this. A depression more than likely will be forming over the next couple of days. Slow development is the key here. And with that said, even if there is slow development, the models are not going gangbusters on development with this in terms of like gung-ho intensity, which is fine in my book, but there is definitely some intensification. Linda says, I just Googled garden attire. Is your jacket flowers? So when I was a big guy, I had a Lilly Pulitzer suit. I'm not a big guy anymore, so that's just not going to be the case. But I do have a nice, like a window pane suit with like a blue shirt. What I was going to think about doing is like, or a white, blue window pane suit, white shirt, and then like a light blue bow tie was what I was going to do, or a light blue tie. So anyway, so there's that. Couple things. If Invest 95 develops, the most important part, I think, of this whole thing is that if it were to develop, it's not looking like a threat to us, okay? If you remember, the GFS had sniffed this out first, and it brought it like big hurricane right into Florida or the Bahamas or what have you. That's not the case. Remember, weaker goes west, and that's exactly what we're watching. It's going to be a low rider system, and because it's going to be so far south, like scraping South America, because of that, it's not getting a ton of Coriolis force, okay, which is fine. So there's that. So working into the Caribbean and eventually getting into Central America. Could it work into the Bay of Campeche? Drink? I don't know. Coffee, people. That's what you're drinking this morning, coffee. Now, in terms of intensity models, nothing too oppressive here, which is fine by me. Several of the models, Tuesday, Wednesday, bring it down, but you can see the kind of consortium of models, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, do bring it to tropical storm strength and try to get it to hurricane intensity. So is that a possibility? Sure. Is that a guarantee? No. Next name on the list, by the way, so we have Dawn we're tracking. The next name on the list would be Emily. Hopefully, Emily is a big dud. All right. Questions, comments, concerns about that? Dawn still in the North Atlantic, not a thing at all. Not going to bother anybody. Although I do have to laugh simply because here I am, I'm in New England, and Dawn is a storm system that's like not far from me, right? Like there's Dawn, tropical storm, winds are at 60, and it's like, I'm not going offshore or anything, but like I'm located somewhere, like here, so it's just kind of funny that like I'm here, Don's there. Anyway, just thought that was kind of funny. But yeah, so that's where we're at in terms of the tropics. That's where we're at in terms of our local forecast. Again, I'll pop up the 7-day forecast just for situational awareness purposes, and then yeah, if you've got any questions, let's have a good little chat, shall we? Sound good? Sound good to me. Yeah. Karen, you look marvelous. Thank you, love. You too. Deb, can't picture you a big man. Oh, Deb, so you must be new to Coffee Talk. I weighed 300 pounds for the first 5 years of Coffee Talk. Yeah. Taylor says, I still vote bow tie, especially with that. I'll have to text Jeannie. Let me text her and ask her. So for planning purposes, bow tie or regular tie? Ask the ladies. I'll let her ask the ladies. Anne Marie, take pics. Would love to see you and Jeannie all dressed up. Listen, when I'm at work, my attire at this wedding is essentially going to be the same thing as if I was at work. Like I don't think that I'm going to be any Any more dressed up? I'm going to wear a suit. Y'all pretty much know what I would look like wearing a suit. Brian, science question. Not sure how to phrase it, so bear with me. Does the number of tropical systems brewing at the same time in either the Atlantic Ocean or the Gulf of Mexico control or push forward the warm, muggy air and control the increase of the humidity intensity, causing higher heat index temperatures again? So I would say, Brian, when it comes to tropical systems, they're just like everything else. Every piece of weather plays on every other piece of weather. So the overall idea is, do tropical systems influence the rest of the weather picture? I think, Brian, is what you're asking. Think of it like this. Weather, and I've mentioned this before, weather is Earth's attempt at equilibrium, right? High pressure and low pressure. High pressure is trying to fill in lower pressure, and it never works, and it's always moving around. So yes, tropical systems play in. A great example, was it Ian or was it Nicole last year, where the hurricane moved through, and because we were on the backside of the hurricane, the winds turned around and we got chilly, right? So yeah, they do, they can. It just kind of depends on how it all plays out. So yeah, they do play in. And if they're bigger, if they're weaker, they just kind of play off of other weather patterns. Whereas if they're bigger systems, they'll make their own weather patterns, essentially. Yeah. So that's where we're at. All right. Deb says, I had gastric bypass. I was over 300 pounds. I'm now at 161. Look at you, Deb. I had gastric bypass. I was at 300 pounds, and I'm at 152 to 155, depending on the day. Yeah, mazel tov to you, adding years to your life. God bless it. Joel, do people ask you about weather at parties? Oh yeah, it was sprinkling last night, and you better believe everybody looked at me as if they were going to kick me out of the party if I didn't have good news. So there you go. Oh man. What if 2 or 3 tropical storms combined? Do you give it a new name? Is that possible? It's not. Sheila, Google the Fujiwara effect. Essentially, they rotate around each other, and the stronger storm shears apart the weaker storms. Yeah. Yeah. Good times. This weather is why they take siestas in Spain in the middle of the day. Oh, 100%. 100%. I'm supporting that. All right. Any other questions, comments, concerns? Otherwise, we can go long range and look at some of the computer forecast models and get an idea of what's to come in the tropics, right? Whether it be from Emily or any other systems, right? Does that sound good? Does that sound good? All right. All right, so what you're looking at is the raw GFS model. This is looking at anomaly pressures. So you've got Dawn, the top center, and then right where it says forecast high 94, that little blue dot kind of in its own space there at the bottom, that's what could become Emily. So we'll roll through time here using the GFS. Little dot, little reflection. The GFS is not really all that excited about developing it. That's cool. And then something behind it, it looks like, weak, not trying to develop much, but moving into the Caribbean. Yeah, nothing strong. So the GFS is going pretty weak. Love that. All right, let's switch over to the European. All right. We'll roll through time. Right there around the Antilles, right where it says current temp 79, right near the Caribbean islands, that white, now blue area, that's what could become Emily. So the European is a little more excited about development there, but not by much, not by much. And then moving a mess toward Central America or the Bay of Campeche, drink. And then another wave behind it, nothing crazy. Yeah, so for now, everything's not, the global models, the deterministic global models are not really that excited about development. So that's totally fine with me. I'll take just watching our local forecast and not having to deal with it. Yeah, I'll take that. Oh man, what's the temp and weather going to be for the wedding? Today's high, I think, is 73 or 74 here today. So a little warmer than yesterday. Yeah. The chair and your shirt are perfect. Oh, hey, hello. Yes, hi. Oh, man. All right. Any other questions, comments, concerns, anything? Mike, if the GFS is saying future storms are weak, wouldn't that be concerning considering this year's history? We just will watch and wait and track. That's all. Zashir says, going on a cruise in August, hoping we stay calm till then. Listen, I'm going on a cruise late July, early August, so I get it. Maxine says, it's too hot to fire up the grill. I mean, I still do it. Like, when I'm down there, I still do it in the heat, but I'm like, I've got a spray. Okay, so I've got a spray bottle in case something gets a little out of control or something. So sometimes I'll spray my face down too. Oh well, what are you gonna do? All right, listen, be the sunshine in someone else's day. I'll see y'all tomorrow morning for coffee talk, 8 a.m. Sound good? Sound good? All right, listen, have a great Saturday. Thank you so much for hanging out, and for God's sake, stay cool. All right, be the sunshine in someone else's day. Talk to y'all later. Take care.